All right, okay. Oh, do we want to have our fun email?
We get email.
We get email.
And if I could print this out so some of you could see it, boy, that'd be fun.
Oh, this is great. This is a...
There's this whole thing with...
Here, you read it, because it came
punctuation, spelling. There's almost nothing capitalized. There's a few homophonic errors.
You can put that one up on the blog.
The subject is how misleading you are.
No, it's how misleading your are.
Oh, sorry. I'm so used to reading things one way that when people screw it up that badly, I miss.
Yeah.
How misleading your are, with an exclamation mark. Atheism is not new and is as old as religion itself. Believing in oneself.
Hey, now let's stop right there. I mean, duh moment number one.
I think maybe, predate religion.
Well, in terms of...
They had to invent a belief before somebody could believe it.
Yeah.
And prior to them believing it, they didn't believe.
Yeah, well, they didn't believe simply because it didn't even occur to them, right?
Yeah,
but to have atheism as an oppositional stance would have taken religion first.
Yes.
So, yeah, atheism is not new and as old as religion itself. That's duh moment number one in sentence number one. Let's keep going.
Then believing in God.
Okay.
Sentence number two.
Okay, exclamation point.
I use sentence in the loosest possible terms.
Yes. We're going to keep an exclamation point count, too, so that's the first one.
I am a scientist, not atheist. Okay. Nobody ever said that scientists had to be atheists, do they? Did I miss a memo?
Well, I think that scientists ought to at least be functionally literate or be able to write.
I don't believe for a second this person's a scientist, but I'm actually addressing this point about I'm a scientist, not an atheist. Okay, there's plenty of those.
Yeah.
People can be wrong about things. I look at facts to back up my beliefs, not speculations about if or not there is a God.
I'm still here. Yeah.
I look at facts. I'm agreeing. I tend to look at facts, and I'm not speculating. I mean, I'm asking where's the evidence of a God. So we'll continue. I know there is billions of atoms and trillion to the second power of DNA splattered throughout, with a hyphen, by the way, the universe and thing unexplained by science today, exclamation mark.
That's what. Trillion to the second power of DNA splattered throughout the universe. Now let's just bask in that visual, folks, for just a minute.
Now, there's a kind of a sub-comment that we can make about belief here.
I'm just hung up on the right.
How many of you believe he's a scientist? Come on now. Before you assume that there is no God, or assume there is, you must look at the evidence.
Duh moment number two.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
And by the way, I'd say not before you assume. I'd say instead of assuming.
Yes.
Consider the evidence, and then base your belief on that evidence. There was a period there to mark the end of the sentence, but it actually keeps going. And not at the winners of history's version of truth, exclamation mark.
We're at 3 now.
So, he seems to think that I've come to the assumption that God doesn't exist without actually examining the evidence and instead accepting the version of history's version of truth. So
which would be that God exists because religion has sort of run the world for thousands of years, are we not?
Just because they claim to be one thing doesn't mean they are that which they claim.
4.
Another exclamation mark. Okay, I agree. Because you claim to be a scientist, and that does not mean that you are that which you claim. Atheist, singular, are the same. No comma. You worry about future and worry about today. Now, it's possible we thought about this could be somebody's second language. English isn't their primary language.
Except
the name, which I'm not going to read. Isn't one that would lead me to conclude that English is a second language. I'll just put it that way. It's possible.
But anyway, we're on exclamation point 5.
Atheists are the same. You worry about future and worry about today, as most humans do.
6.
Another exclamation mark. I worry about my children and their future.
7. We worry about your children and their future.
More than I did before I got your email. But I look at the Christian world and see a joy they have that no other set of people have.
8.
Really?
Huh.
How do you, I mean, I can understand that based on your experience, this is what you see, that Christians are more joyful than others. I'm done. Oh, there's a cow again. Hey. What's the evidence to back that up? Because, I mean, that's kind of like saying, along the lines of saying the Christians are more moral than other people. When we actually go out and do studies, we find, for example, that people who claim to be Christian are no more moral, no more ethical. The divorce rate is as high or higher. I don't particularly see them more joyful. And when you talk to some Christians about it, they have the exact opposite view. That some Christians, not all, because they're so gung-ho on fire for Jesus, they're persecuted by Satan, and that's the reason why their lives are miserable. So where is this joy that is superior in this portion of the population that doesn't exist in as great a degree in this other population? Because none of the data that I've seen actually supports what you're saying.
And even if it did, since when does X makes me happy equate to X equals true?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you ask a bunch of drunks how they're feeling, you're going to get a really good response rate for damn good, boy.
Yeah, that's George Bernard Shaw's classic line. To say that a religious man is happier than a non-religious man is no more to the point than to say that a drunk man is happier than a sober man. Makes no difference.
Now, there is an issue that if a particular religion had a positive benefit on the individual that made them live a happier life, that may actually be an argument worth making if you say that your only goal is happiness. I'd say that the things that we find about religion that would provide joy or happiness or benefit or positive, you can find all of those things in secular areas as well. And the reason is because none of it is coming from any supernatural agent. It's like the example I've used before where a guy is in a mine and it's caved in. Praying might make it more likely that he's going to survive, but not because God's going to intervene. It's because it's going to have a calming effect that's going to cause him to use less oxygen, which is going to extend the amount of time that he has before he suffocates in order to promote a rescue.